the front lines of our communities, and this is for all of us. It's called Wounded Healers, because I am. I'm bruised, but I ain't broken. You can tell by these words and how they've spoken. And I got baggage on my back that requires a yoke and straddled by a system that never paid a token to take this ride. Yet I paid to be blind and left into a circus line on the strength of a sound and such an enticing crowd that with all handkerchiefs tied, we all jumped the ship. The sound were on the ground, and now we stand slumped in the shadow of a structure that's ruptured, about to collapse or be torn down, because even the land underneath has more potential than the people who handle perpetual pressures we endure as they set the standards for credentials required to be an entire person, part of the macro universe, and this system has failed its mission for so many. Played for fools, those considered useless, told to lease out our souls, blown out our traditions. They tried to fill them with media superstitions that in reality looks more like stones, similar to those once thrown with witches when condemning they sold. This is a sacrificial system that should have been condemned when it began to look more like an infraction on rights that are God-given to His creations, who have been fractured to a fraction of themselves. Yes, this is the same system that once considered a human 3/5 of an entire being. And still we keep on acting like that 2/5 was never sold to no one and was never enough to repair unjust actions. Claim those had only existed in our imaginations. And they say we are responsible for the manifestation of this monstrous system. And yes, we have been irresponsible in our actions and failed to bring attention to the fact that there is no longer mention of the debt longing for reimbursement to those same persons once considered subservient. But we have more free demand our 5 parts and acknowledge the wholeness that was bruised, shunned, but never broken. We all pay the same token to ride this joke. So step out your yoke and derail the merry-go-round. Stand back and settle into some groundation. What is part of the Lord's plan, no system can withstand the wrath of His hand. This has always been His land, and we, His farmers, reduced into martyrs, when brought to the fire as kindling to build a smoke screen around our bruised and charred souls. And we need to take them back through the blazes that lay fire to our feet and give us speed towards His embrace. Burn off any trace of stagnation from a septic system. Go back instead to a place where we can all be said, where there is no longer hopelessness and persecution. We need to go back where the threats no longer where the threats no longer linger from a system that from conception has attempted to torch all our sacred traditions.
Yes!
One last thing, I want to talk to everybody who's an artist who's coming up. If you're an artist, please be a teaching artist.
Yes!
Go back to your communities, give what you got, even if it's this much, because we got a lot of youth, and they need some help.
Right.
That's an educator with a body roll, a mean body roll, lyrics and words. Next up, we have a